Let's begin today and turn our books to page 64. Page 64 in our math workbooks. Today, we're going to be talking about fractions. Fractions. So, we're going to be learning a few vocabulary words today, such as denominator, equivalent, fraction, greater, and numerator. So, let's begin with talking about what is a fraction. A fraction means that it's not the whole piece. It's only part of a number. So for example, let's begin by me writing 1/2. This means 1/2 or 1/2. So the top part we can call this 1 is called a numerator. Right? Let's say that together. Numerator. This top part, this 1 means numerator. The bottom number, the 2, is called a denominator. Let's read that together. Denominator. Again, denominator. So a fraction has two parts. The first part is called a numerator. The second part is called a denominator. So the numerator is always on top. The denominator is always on the bottom. So, we have two more words to learn today, and we're going to learn about the word equivalent. Equivalent. And we're also going to learn the word greater. Greater. So, let's take a look at both words. So, we have the word equivalent. Equivalent. Equivalent means equals, right? They are the same. So, if we say something is equivalent, it means it is the same. So, in fractions, we can talk about two fractions being equivalent, which means it's the same. So, equivalent means equals. They are the same. The next word we have is greater. 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 Greater means that it's more than, bigger than. So, again, greater means it's more than or bigger than. They both mean the same. So, more than, we can give an example such as 9 is greater than 2. 9 is greater than 2. The 9 is bigger, right? So we put the sign facing towards the 9. It looks like a mouth right here, right? You can see the mouth is wanting to eat the 9. So the 9 is greater than 2. So we will use both of these words in fractions to describe fractions. Equivalent, greater. Equivalent, greater. So, how do we read fractions? That's what we're going to learn today. As we learned before, this top number is the numerator. This 1 is the numerator. The bottom is the denominator. Again, so the top is numerator and the bottom is denominator. So, when we read a fraction, we read the top, then the bottom. So the top we read as normal numbers. So this we read as 1, and this 2 we read as half. So we read this whole fraction as 1 half. Again, so we read this whole fraction as 1 half. Let's try the next one. We see the top is 1 and the bottom is 3. So we read the fraction as 1/3. 1/3. 1/3. Let's move on to the next one. Again, we see the number 1. So we say 1/4. 1/4. The next one we see 1 again. So we say 1/5. 1/5. 1/5. All right, let's try the next one. We see 1 again. 1/6. 1/6. 1/6. Let's try the next one. 1/7. 1/7. 1/7. Again. 1/8. 1/8. 1/8. Let's move on to this one. We see a 1 and a 9. So the top says 1/9. 1/9. 1/9. And the last one, 1/10. 1/10. 1/10. Let's practice some more reading about fractions and how to say them. So we see the top number says 2, and we see the bottom number says 3. So again, the top number is the numerator. Denominator. Numerator, denominator. So the 2, we just read normally. So we say 2, and then the bottom, we say thirds, right? So 2/3. 2/3. Let me write that out. 2/3. So we can read the fraction as 2/3. The top number we always read normally. The numerator we read normally, 2. And the bottom number, we change it a bit and we read it as thirds. So let's try that again with the bottom number we see here. We see 7 and an 8. So 7 as the numerator, 8 as the denominator. 7 as the numerator, 8 as the denominator. So this time, we're going to read it as 7/8. 7/8. right? 7/8. 7/8, right? So we're going to read the fraction as 7/8. And we can write it that way too, 7/8. I'm going to teach you how to read and write fractions. But first, we need to know these numbers as well, because before I taught you how to read the fraction, but now you're going to learn how to write it as well. So the numerator stays the same. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. You always read the top number, the numerator, the same way. But the denominator, we read differently. Here I have written down how we should read and write the denominator. So if we see the bottom number, the denominator, we see 2, we'll write the word half. 2, half is the same, right? Only as the denominator. If we see 3, we write the word third. If we see 4, we write the word fourth. If we see 5, we write the word fifth. If we see 6, we write the word sixth. If we see 7, we write the word seventh. You see how a lot of these words, we're just adding th to the end. So we see 8, we write eighth. We see 9, we write ninth. We see 10, we write 10th. We see 11, we write 11th. We see 12, we write 12th. We see 13, we write 13th. We see 14, we write 14th. We see 15, we write 15th. We see 16, we write 16th. We see 17, we write 17th. We see 18, we write 18th. We see 19, we read 19th. We see 20, we read 20th. Right? So again, half, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th. Okay, there we go.